Welcome to the Earth Feels podcast.
I'm Rose.
And I'm Christine.
Welcome to Earth Feels, the podcast for people feeling overwhelmed by the endlessly gloomy climate news.
Where every week we have soul-based conversations about climate change and explore the idea that climate change may be happening for us as much as it is happening to us.
If you are ready to shift your focus and secure the future for our kids and our grandkids, then this is the podcast for you.
And yes, we do know how to spell.
Hey there, it's Rose here. With this week's question, how do we meet this all hands on deck moment? In recent months, we've all seen the worsening effects of the climate crisis. There's no need to list all the catastrophic weather events happening globally. They've been put front and forward. They're etched indelibly in our psyche. And both mainstream media and social media have connected the dots for those who would have preferred to remain comatose. The illusion is gone. Climate breakdown is undeniable. We are in, as a recent IPCC report stated, a stage of code red for humanity, for all species, and for our beloved Mother Earth. And while there's an understandably overwhelming sense of grief, if you missed it, I dedicated the entire month of September to climate anxiety and depression. As we process and move through our momentary state of paralysis, we must acknowledge the need to take action. There are those that would say it's too late. The problem is so enormous that individual action can't possibly help, so why even try? But I call bullshit on that notion. We are, in fact, at an evolutionary moment. Webster defines an all-hands-on-deck moment as a situation in which every available person is needed or being called to assist. It's an emergency situation where we need all the help we can get. We are all being called to be the leaders we were born to be. To paraphrase the immortal words of Mahatma Gandhi, it's up to each and every one of us to be the change we wish to see. Luckily, our strengths, our talents, our passions are as varied as our individual faces. And every one of us is invaluable. To quote J.K. Rowling, we do not need magic to transform our world. We have all the power we need inside ourselves already. So how do we meet this unprecedented all hands on deck moment? By remembering who we are. We are the direct result of the strength and determination of generations of ancestors before us. We are the product of survivors. By leaning into our individual gifts, we each have a unique skill set that no one else has. And there has never been a more important time to showcase our talent. By telling our stories, by revealing our individual journeys with both its triumphs and its pitfalls, allows others to do the same. We inspire each other with our stories. By trusting that our lessons learned along the way have prepared us for this very challenge. By using our voices with family and friends, neighbors, coworkers, in talking about the climate situation, with our political leadership, online and in the streets if need be, by using our dollars to support the corporations we want to thrive, to boycott and starve those we know must end, and by investing in new ideas we want to see come to fruition. As an economist, I'm fond of saying, demand is the driver. We are much more powerful. Our dollars are much more powerful than we know. By using our vocations to educate, to create, legislate, and inspire the world our hearts know is possible, by lifting one another, we already know that those who have the least are suffering the worst. Undoubtedly, we've all heard, a rising tide lifts all boats. Assisting one another, physically, spiritually, economically, is the moral, ethical thing to do. So, how do we meet this unprecedented all hands on deck moment? With courage to do the unpopular and the difficult, accessing our mother bear fierceness that serves to protect our children and our grandchildren and their children generations into the future. With compassion for all living beings, with vision for a humane, sustainable, and mutually supportive world, with hope. Katharine Hayhoe recently said, we have to practice hope. Each one of these actions allows us to practice hope. How do we meet this all hands on deck moment? With an open heart and together. One of my favorite stories is about the buffalo and how they react to a storm. When they see a storm coming, they don't turn their back on it. As a group, they turn and face the storm and run towards it together. We are the ones we've been waiting for. It won't be easy. And I get it. It's pretty daunting to acknowledge a fate we've all created and realize that no one is coming to save us. No political leader, no captain of industry. In truth, the paradigm that has brought us to this point has our so-called leaders caught like deer in the headlights. Our political system is indentured to the moneymakers, and the moneymakers hold huge influence over our political leaders. But that could be an entirely different podcast on its own. This is not a time for playing small. This is a time for digging deep, to access the best in ourselves for the good of the whole. In closing, I'd like to read a statement from Marianne Williamson that gives me strength on the days that I am struck with imposter syndrome. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us. It's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So there you have it. How do we meet this unprecedented all hands on deck moment? With everything we've got. Thanks for listening.
That's this week's episode of Earth Feels. Special thanks to singer-songwriter Kristen Hoffman for generously allowing us to use Song for the Ocean. Thanks for listening.
Don't forget, subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss an episode. Catch you next time.
Bye-bye.
Children of the earth, I'm calling out. There's a mission for you and for me.